Welcome back, everybody. There they are. And you can see there's a great comparison in terms of size. There is your gold medalist in T3 driving off in that S2000. And behind that guardrail is Formula 500, or Formula 5, as they're now starting to call it. And basically, the interesting thing about that category is, as we talked about, the rules are kind of simple in it. I mean, you can't have all these intricate suspensions. It's a solid suspension. About the only thing that you can adjust is the stiffness of a rubber block in it. But they, of course, have figured ways to make these cars missiles.
Oh, absolutely. I actually think they've probably been talking to NASA, and the rubber block has a bunch of different textures to it to achieve what they're looking for. Snowmobile-powered, small, open-wheel cars. The amazing thing is these cars actually, the pole sitter is at a 2 minutes, 22 seconds. So in comparison, we're a good 8-9 seconds faster than the previous race. Jason Knutson was champion last year. These are purpose-built cars. It's not something they actually build in a garage. They have manufacturers for these cars, and they are state-of-the-art.
They are, and the interesting thing is what it doesn't say up there. By the way, Knutson going for a hat trick. He won the last 2 years, so he really would like to put that one together. But the interesting thing is there is no normal type of transmission in here with gears that you're changing. It's a constant velocity transmission like they use on the snowmobile, where it's just the clutch and it expands on the belts. And so you'll hear the revs go right to the top, and it just sits there. And the whole time that thing's spooling up and you're going faster and faster. It's a very unique sound to these cars. And it seems like how you have to approach a corner, because you want to keep that engaged. So you've always got that rev up. Even when you're on the brake, you're working the gas. It's just an amazing class to listen to, let alone watch.
Oh, absolutely. And these guys are, a lot of them, and racers in general, coming up through go-karts. So they're used to left foot braking and having two pedals. And certainly keeping the RPMs up is a definite key to these. The other thing, clutching, as you mentioned, is so big. They're constantly tuning these clutches. And I would imagine in the off-season, a lot of these guys are hired by the snowmobile racers to be tuning on theirs.
Yeah, it's an amazing technology, and it's just there's little springs and weights inside the clutches, and you got the drive clutch, the driven clutch, and where it grabs that belt and starts to bite and all that is these big plates come together and stuff, and it's just amazing where it engages and how it hooks up, and it's some pretty interesting stuff. But the end of this story is, as you pointed out, the lap times. You got much smaller engines up against some of the cars that were just out there, and yet they're lapping so much quicker. The interesting thing is a long track with long straights, long high-speed corners, really short wheelbase. Boy, when these things spin, it's like when you pull the other rope to start the thing, you pull the rope on a top. It's just amazing, and they are darty little things. I mean, they're just so fun to watch.
Oh, being so light, their change of direction is just amazing. And, yeah, when they do get off, and it's had some pretty spectacular downsides of racing, but they're just awesome.
Well, let's take a look, and we'll run through the starting lineup for you right now. And the gentleman who is going for that third consecutive win in the hat trick starts from the place you want to start. He is on the pole. He was also the pole sitter in 2008 on his way to the first championship in his Scorpion, sponsored by Mitchell Racing Services on Hoosier Tires. Patrick Gallagher, 17-year-old driver who was a major player in the race last year in terms of speed and the like, and actually was on the pole. This 17-year-old has been awfully quick in his CTL Engineering Invader, so that's your front row. Then the number 24, Michael Mueller, will start on the inside of row number 2, and he was 6th here last year. Mike Brent, former champion in 1997, always fast, won the Northeastern Division this year with a great season of 4 wins, started 2nd last year. Then we take a look. James R. Weeda and Robert Geeson will make up that third row. The Weeda Apartment Scorpion and the Subway Sandwiches Red Devil, number 22 and 0, respectively. And Geeson already has a win this season here at Road America. In 7th, it'll be the 15 of C.J. Maccabee out of Topeka, Kansas. The A.J.'s Import KBS. Then the number 43 of Aaron Ellis, who is the champion in the year 2000. And was very impressive this year at the sprints with a second-place finish on his way to winning the Central Division. Starting in the 9th spot, the 10 of Jeremy Morales out of Glen Head, New York, in the Hawk Performance Raptor. And the 54 of Mike Vasic in his QRE-sponsored Invader. In the 6th row, starting 11th, the 75 of Chris Huscomb in the Wicks Mitchell Racing Scorpion. And the number 5 of Dave Lapham out of Irvington, New York, the QRE Hoosier Tire Invader. Then we go to the 13 starting spot. The number 58 is Corey McLeod out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and the Anna Marie and Hardin Byers Red Devil, and the 03 of Daryl Greening from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and the Red Devil just down the road a little bit. Eighth row, there'll be the number 17 of T.J. Shaughnessy out of Watertown, New York, and his QRE Hoosier Tires Invader, and the number 44 of Herb Noble out of Marion, Iowa, the Mitchell Racing Services Scorpion. Ninth row, starting 17th, will be number 8, Joe Palmer out of Coppell, Texas, and the Team Texas Nova car. And starting 18th, the number 7 of Chris Larson out of Kewanee, Wisconsin, in his Scorpions. 10th row, starting 19th, will be the 08 of Chris Hod out of McKinney, Texas, and the Prosham Ventures and Mitchell Racing KBS. And the 68 of David Vincent out of Leavenworth, Kansas. They let him out, apparently. The Elizabeth Vincent KBS machine. Starting in the 11th row, the 21st spot, number 71, Charles Schlisman out of Homewood, Illinois. I love the name of this race team, Nearly Naked Racing, and the KBS MK8. And starting 22nd will be the number 86 of Timothy Friest, also out of Leavenworth, Kansas, on the VF Racing KBS. Starting 23rd will be number 70, Jeff Blumenthal out of Independence, Ohio, the Chainsaw Motorsports KBS. Starting 24th, number 3, Carl Mayer out of Grand Prairie, Texas, the Mitchell Racing Maverick. And completing the field in the 13th row, starting 25th, number 16, Chuck Maccabee, who won his division, but he had a problem in qualifying. And he's in the now this is some sponsorship. Sponsors listed as me, myself, and I. In the QRE Invader, and then the 26, number 55, Glenn Smeal out of San Marco, Texas, in his SKF Bearing-sponsored Red Devil out of the Southwest Division. So a good field. Technically, all of the cars should be very similar in terms of power output. Obviously, there's tuning things you can do. And these are snowmobile engines, so you're dealing with jetting and that sort of thing, obviously. And the weather conditions, you got to get the guess right. And as you said, you got to get those rubber stops and everything to get the setup. And the clutching is huge. You know, where does it engage? Do you get the launch you want, but do you run out of steam at the end of these long straights? As always at Road America, it's a compromise.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where years of experience is going to help, trying to get the right combination today with the cooler temperatures and the jetting, especially with 2 cycles, which is a black art.
And I think patience is something to consider here because it's still cold out and there are still spots on the track that are a bit damp. And so you don't want to go too hard too early and find yourself spinning off into a gravel trap. And our national championship battle for Formula 5 about to commence. Up the front straight. Starter says green. We are underway, and Knutson wasting no time. Man, did he time that fantastically and absolutely leapt off. But here's where it all gets interesting. Finally, you get into the toe. You're 3 abreast. You're 4 abreast. And actually, that was somewhat restrained for these guys. And Knutson leads down and into that first turn, already opening up a little bit of advantage. And look at that field just stream through behind them. On the exit of the turns, you're 3 wide.
Oh, absolutely. This is just tight racing. I got so caught up in watching it. It's very, very exciting to watch them as they come through turn 3. Looks like Geeson there dropped the wheel a little bit, but he's definitely going for it in that subway car.
Up and underneath the Sargento Bridge. That's the exit of 3, down toward turn 5, that follow-away turn 5. And Knutson wasting no time, but the battle behind him already starting to heat up. Nice move. Oh, look to me, did he run wide? He did. Knutson running a little bit wide, missed the apex badly down in turn 5, and that allowed the pursuers to close right back up. Here we go, through turn 6, and the run now, down through 7 into turn 8.
Well, in turn 5 is actually a point where the first point on your lap where you actually really get on the brakes hard. And if you didn't get quite enough heat in them, or if you had a little issue, it's definitely going to cause you to go wide. Looks like they're clean through 8. Starting to form up. Geeson moving.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike Mueller right there, that second car, that number 24, he drove a brilliant run from 3 down into 5, and he's looking at the outside of Knutson as they go through the carousel. So he's willing to get racy right off the start. There's a good look at that. That corner is actually more than 180 degrees. It's just very, very, very long. And here you go through the kink. You saw not only did Mueller run Knutson, he's down to the inside. That if he can hold on to that spot, no, he couldn't quite do it. And Knutson will hang on down into the right-hander. That is Canada corner or turn 12. But Mueller awfully strong early. And for a minute there, it looked like Knutson might just start checking out. He had that one little mistake, and that's all it took. And it has allowed Mueller to close right back up. Now, the two of them running close together like that, Bart, are already starting to gap everybody else.
Oh, and that's just perfect. If you can just stay in line and run away for a little while, get yourself a good gap, and then wait for your racing till the end. But Mueller's definitely had a very, very good season. Local guy and knows the track well. You can see they're drafting up the front straight to avoid the side wind, trying to get a mile an hour or two more out of there.
Yeah, right up against that pit wall, and there was a reason for that. It wasn't any blocking or anything, like you said. Get out of that breeze, make them run a little bit quicker down the hill. Gallagher still right there, sitting in third. There's Gallagher, but he's lost the time. But he's been able to drop everybody behind him, including the 47 of Brent, the 5 of Lapham, Giesen, who we've been talking about in the yellow subway car. It'll be interesting now to see if the 17-year-old Gallagher is able to find enough to run down these two guys, who I think right now, you said it early, the experience and running, getting to that wall, running together, not racing each other right now, trying to break everybody behind you. And, of course, as I say that, then they go side by side.
Well, it's really difficult. And drivers being egomaniacs, they want to lead for a while. So he definitely made his move, and maybe he can gap himself.
Oh, and Knutson loops it big time right at the exit of 5, and he's trying to get out of the way. Somebody else having a moment to the left just off the screen. So Knutson's pursuit of a third straight gold medal suddenly takes a very negative turn, quite literally. And I was thinking that maybe Knutson had let Mueller go, so you let the guy pass you, so you just keep going faster and faster, but he just couldn't match his speed exiting turn 5.
Oh, absolutely. And just looking out the window now, we've got rain coming down again sideways. So he might have just hit a wet part in the track or just backed off, but you certainly see him sliding around out there.
Oh, everybody being very twitchy. I said they were twitchy in the dry. You put slicks on these short wheelbase cars and get a little bit of dampness on the track. It's anybody's guess. Game on at this point. But Mueller doing a beautiful job out in the front, and that's the exit of the carousel behind that hill, and behind that hill lies the kink that you go through. And watching these cars through there, I mean, the speed these things build in a hurry is amazing. And again, with that short wheelbase through a corner like the kink, yay.
Oh, yeah, and then you add a little bit of moisture down there. It's just, they're doing a great job, and I'm glad I'm not out there racing with them, because these are some of the most tricky conditions out there.
That yellow car that was first through our frame in that one, that is Giesen. Then you've got the red entry of Aaron Ellis, then Weeda, Maccabee, and Morales. And that battle, basically, we're looking at the battle for 6th on back at this point, and it's some close quarters action. There goes Giesen. He's got him covered at this stage as they come whistling out of turn 14 and start to climb up the hill. Meanwhile, up front, look at this. We've got ourselves a new leader as Gallagher has made the pass. Now here comes Mueller, pops to the outside, trying to get the easier angle, the wider angle down into turn 1, and he clears him, and Gallagher realizes, no, if I stay where I am, it's going to be ugly, so just drop in behind, get that exit speed, and you can see he was able to do that, thinking about it, Bart, but then decides, nope, let's not do that just yet. And once again, if you start battling each other, pretty soon, Giesen, who's had an amazing lap, now up into third with all of those problems, you're going to have a veteran like Giesen all breathing down your necks.
Boy, and I tell you what, Gallagher's definitely showing maturity beyond his years. He's running a smart race, and so is Miller. And you're right, if Giesen gets up there, he's definitely going to be in contention also.
Gallagher again takes a look down at a 5, that bright orange nose, but then realizing, nope, not the place to be messing with it. And my guess is that that's an area of the track where we do have a little bit of some moisture down there, because I think Gallagher, that was where Knutson went around, and I think Gallagher said, nah, I don't want to push that envelope and have the same thing happen. I'd rather drop off a little bit and then take a run. We've got a car off. Couldn't quite pick up the number, but you can see some of the workers heading up to give him a help. It looked like it was just a pull-off there. The exit of turn 7 down into turn 8, another one of those fall-away braking zones. Those are fun, huh?
Oh, yeah, those are extra special. You're really challenging your brakes, and then the elevation just throws another element into it. But it's one of the things that makes Road America just one of the most exceptional tracks out there.
Yeah, the designers, they always put those fall-away braking zones at the end of really fast straights, or sections of track at any rate. There you go. That's the exit of the kink, and it is just such a fast corner. See, not a lot of runoff there on what is driver's left, the right of our screen from that vantage point. Now, fastest part of the track, and then down into this relatively tight right-hander. That's turn 12, or Canada Corner, as it's called.
Or Canada.
Or Canada.
As I call it.
Ooh, that was very close. That was, I think, the number couldn't quite pick up the number of that black machine, but he was trying to straight line to the apex, and if he'd actually got there, everybody else was just turning across on him. That would have been a sketchy moment. That yellow car that's on the screen is the 47 of Mike Brent, as I said, the 1997 national champion. He is always there. He's had a few poles over the course as well. And down the front straight, by the way, Mueller again taking a run at Gallagher. Then here comes the rest of the field. It's Giesen, chased by the number 5 of Lapham, then Maccabee, then Weida, and then Morales. Then it is the 43 of Ellison, and completing the top 10 is the 92 of Knutson. And Gallagher's done it, Bart. He has gone around Mueller.
Yes, it looks like he pulled it off on the straightaway, and they're really, really in a tight battle. Boy, if they can stay nose to tail this whole race, it's going to be spectacular.
Well, this is the draft in these cars is just incredible. I mean, it's like throwing out a hook and just letting that guy haul you right on by. Pretty amazing stuff. And these two guys, they're having a good battle. But it looks like, when they get to the point where if I stay there, it's going to slow us both down. Even as you said, the young Gallagher is going, nope, let's just back it off. There's a lot of race yet to go, and we can fight this out later, but let's do it without, 5, 6 other cars right behind us.
Oh, yeah, and if you look at the train of 4th through 9th, they're definitely gaining in speed. The more cars you have in a row that can run together, they're probably catching up to them a little bit. So it's smart that they're staying nose to tail, utilizing where those cars are strong. And someone's faster in the straightaways, he's going to pull him around, and vice versa.
And there's Giesen. He's starting to make an appearance at the back of the picture here. He's narrowed that margin up now to 4 seconds, and he's done that largely running by himself. So that gives you an idea of the kind of pace that he's able to put together. And an unfortunate moment here, I see the number 17 of T.J. Shaughnessy down in pit lane right out of our broadcast window here. So, boy, when you pit in one of these national championship sprint races, that's never good. That means your day is over. Meanwhile, here we go. This battle continues. The number 5 of Lapham, and that was the 15 of Maccabee, just able to sneak underneath. And he made, you make a pass attempt approaching the kink, you really hope the guy you're racing cooperates.
Actually, I won't even try passing in the kink. I've seen too many times where it doesn't come out well.
Ooh, there's a touch. That was a touch. The right rear of Lapham. That was, I think it may have been the 22 of Weida, and the two of them, a little bit of rubbing.
A little bit, yeah, and they're semi-open wheels, so you gotta be careful. They will launch each other.
Here we go, up through 14, those two, and then that pack of 4 cars. Mueller back in front of Gallagher and has actually got a whopping margin of like 3 car lengths at this point. Here comes Giesen by in 3rd.
And Giesen's crew chief, Rock Irwin's got tons of experience here. I wonder if he's got a late race setup on that car that he might have something for him by the end.
And by the way, you notice in that pack right behind Lapham, that's Lapham Maccabee, there's a guy named Knutson who is flying right now and is going to make this one very interesting as he works his way up through that pack. His last lap was almost 2 seconds quicker than the guys he's running through right now. So he is going to be spectacular to watch as they come up through the pack. There go your 2 leaders, Mueller.
And in years past, this race has gone yellow. So definitely do not count them out because, boy, once you mix them back up and group them up, it's anyone's race.
Here's that approach up in a 6. You get light right there, and then you got to brake. And if you get it wrong, there's that nice little gravel trap waiting.
And then tires past that. So
yeah,
definitely. The good thing is about turn 6 that Willy Wonka didn't make this track, so it doesn't change each time you come up the hill. It always goes left.
You have a clue, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You may not have an answer and a solution, but at least you've got a clue. All right, here's that battle we're talking about. That black car is the 22 of Weida. That should be the, or is that the 47 of Brent now that has slipped back behind Weida possibly. And there we go. Knutson starting to drop the hammer as he continues to work up.
And unfortunately, small cars mean small numbers. So, and as your eyes get older, Greg, I'll help you out if I can.
Geez, Bart, I appreciate you throwing me under the bus this early in the weekend, so got that one out of the way. The unfortunate thing, folks, is he's absolutely right. I'm crawling on top of the monitor right now trying to see these numbers, but they are putting on an absolutely great show. Knutson, by the way, now officially up into the 8th spot, and the guy he's closing on is the number 15 of Maccabee as they come working down through this section of track. Boy, So much to offer here. There's that pave we're talking about right at the exit of 12, and that has made such a huge difference in the spots that they've done that here.
Yeah, it allows them, if you do have an incident, that you can maybe keep going racing instead of having a local yellow or a full course yellow to extract a car from that pea gravel. So extending that out's been a really, really big plus.
And another lap complete and another lead change as Gallagher out in front of Mueller.
Gallagher does a 2:24 that lap, so I think fastest lap of the race so far.
Yep, according to the monitor, that now is the quickest lap of the race.
So he might be coming into a setup or might be stretching it, but we'll see.
Well, he comes out of turn 3 and is able to pull a little bit of a gap over Mueller at this point as they head up underneath the bridge. And it's Giesen, then Weida, then Brent now is in 5th. Lapham, Maccabee, Morales, and Knutson has had another moment somewhere. We didn't catch it on camera because he was closing on 7th, and he now has not yet come by, so he must have had an issue somewhere. Oh, and he's in the pits. That's the problem. Right across from us, he has stopped. Very quick chat with his crew and is heading back out and looks like he's going to get back on track. Tell you what, you take a look at that car of his. It's a Scorpion S1 running a Rotax 493 engine. And you take a look at the back end of that car. For being a low-tech, and I say that in quotes, class, there's some pretty creative aerodynamic ducting going on around that chassis.
Well, as much as SCCA wants to sell it as a entry-level class, these cars are certainly state-of-the-art, and the engineers working on them keep pushing that envelope and really designing stuff.
54, Mike Bassick has pulled over out of Steger, Illinois, having a problem. That beautiful number 54. It's forlorn at this moment, just parked over there. He's already out, and it's nice. I mean, he pulled off. He knew he had a problem. He pulled off in an area where it wasn't going to really impact the racing too much, figuratively or literally, and thus has allowed this race to continue. Of course, for everybody chasing Gallagher and Mueller at this point, they may have liked to have seen a little bit of a yellow, but like this guy,
I'm
Giesen,
sure the Subway car would love to see it right now, who also sponsored the runoffs this year.
Yeah, so
he
it's always nice.
One.
Yeah, when you can bring it home for the event sponsor as well. Up the hill, though, comes Gallagher, again with Mueller right in tow. We are going to be it's going to look
and
at
it looks like he's making a pop.
Oh, man, he sure did get the run, didn't he? And, again, that draft is so huge. And up and around. And I think that was Gallagher going, I could maybe contest this, but it's going to cost us that key momentum coming out of that turn, and that just helps Giesen get closer. I'm really impressed with Gallagher, and he had a rough race last year, but I'm really impressed with this young man's racecraft.
Oh, absolutely. And, even though they are doing battling, I think you're right. I think they're doing some drafting, and where one car is good, it leads, and where the other car is good, that leads. And they've been able to keep a pretty sizable gap back to Giesen, who's definitely driving the wheels off of it, but without any help of a drafting partner, it's going to be tough to chase him down.
And again, you see that look, and then there we go. Gallagher tucks right back in behind Mueller as they climb up into turn 6. We have completed 6, working lap 7.
It's kind of interesting looking at turn 6, especially on these cars with limited suspension travel. They only travel about an inch or 3/4 of an inch to an inch movement. So there's actually a dip under turn 6, and one of the camera angles you can see. That's got to be pretty exciting in these cars, trying to absorb that dip and brake and turn all at once.
I would think so. And speaking of exciting, look what our two leaders are coming up on. Some lap traffic. They're going to catch them right at the exit of the carousel. And Mueller went to the outside. Gallagher went, well, we're going to see what we can do. We're going to split the difference. And Gallagher chose wisely and got down to the inside, and Mueller realized I've been had and just breathed out of it, tucked right back in behind him, and they got through those lap cars. But, boy, you start mixing traffic into this mix, it is going to be very interesting. And once again, Gallagher obviously just made the right guess on that point, but Mueller's reaction to it was superb.
Well, and it's pretty interesting, too. Usually when you come up on a lapper, they're by themselves. Here they were engaged in their own battle, and sometimes you get so enthralled in that you forget that, hey, there's the leaders coming up, too. So they're racing just as hard as the leaders, and probably just didn't know they were coming.
Well, and that's where those corner workers out there with those flags play such an integral role. And we talk about getting off the couch. If you're sitting here watching it, you want to get involved in this. You don't have to drive. There's all these specialties in SCCA that you can fulfill. And the best seat in the house, and one where you truly are a participant in the race itself, is on the corners, because you're communicating command information from the race control, but you're also providing information with those blue flags to the drivers. And a good flag can play a huge role in a race, and a missed flag can play a huge role as well. So there are ways for you to get in and become part of this. And while this battle is broken off just a little bit, I do want to just say hello to somebody. When you think about Formula 500 racing, particularly if you followed the coverage that has been on TV and now on the web over the years, you may be missing the name Jack Walbron. And the reason is he's been an active racer in this for so many years, one of the absolute gentlemen and top flyers in the season. He had a very busy season. He ran 15 races this year, but just some awful timing. He developed a little health issue here right before the runoffs and wasn't able to make it. So we're pretty sure that he's going to be sitting at home watching this race, wishing like mad that he was out and in it. And Jack, we're wishing you were in it as well. Wish we were calling your name right up at the front as we usually do here, and we wish you a speedy recovery, my friend. And as this battle continues, that little bit of a gap between Gallagher and Mueller, we're going to step away for just a minute, take a quick break here in the battle for the Formula 500 National Championship at the 47th running of SCCA's National Championship Runoffs, presented by Subway. We'll be right back.
The 2010 SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Subway, is brought to you by Mazda, Black Magic Car Care Products, and Gum Out.
Forget the rock. Let's roll. Follow your inner driver to the all-new 2011 Mazda 2. It's Zoom Zoom. Concentrated.
Kid, where you been?
Just got back from an SCCA event.
Really?
Yeah, SCCA has more than 2,000 events every year.
Serious?
Go to SCCA.com and find people in your area that drive fast and get their hands dirty. And you don't have to be a supercar to compete.
So I go to SCCA.com, sign up, and I can start competing?
It's that easy.
And there's a look at the number 70 of Jeff Blumenthal, having a little bit of a problem running a little bit further back in the pack. It's been a tough week for him, actually. His qualifying didn't go quite as well as he wanted either. And right now he's back in the order just a little bit, running in the 18th spot. Meanwhile, got some tremendous racing going on elsewhere. There is the 0-3 of Greening, as he's making a good run up through the pack as well. Started in the 14th spot. Darrell Greening out of Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. As I said, I love this. Sponsored by Mom and Dad. So there's a crew you always want to acknowledge.
That was actually one of my sponsors for years. Who was the other favorite sponsor? Me, myself, and I.
Yep. And, of course, 71, the Nearly Naked Racing team. As you can see, in this class, anywhere you look, you're eventually going to find two guys or three or four locked in a fierce battle. It may not be for the win, but you're battling at the runoffs, and that in and of itself is pretty special. These are the two guys who are battling at the sharp end of things and going for the gold. And Gallagher continues to lead out of turn 8, heading into the carousel. But although Mueller is as far back as we've seen him here for a couple of laps, he certainly is in no way, shape, or form letting Gallagher get too far away.
No, he's definitely within striking distance, and might be saving his tires, might be waiting for a late race charge, but we'll see. And you're absolutely right that you might be battling for 18th, but as long as you're in a good race and you're at the runoffs, it's the best.
By the way, Gieson's sitting in third right now, but he has fallen quite a bit back of those two leaders as they come down now through turn 12, Canada corner. Gallagher over Mueller. Giesen quite a bit back, and equally as far behind Giesen as Lapham at this stage. So barring any kind of an issue for one of the three guys up front, they should be the podium. Now, as close as these two guys are running, and we've getting now into the closing stages of this race, they've been working pretty wisely together, but at a certain point, especially as you see Mueller starting to get the toe and getting the run, at a certain point, all of that, the caution goes literally into this very stiff breeze here, and you start throwing everything on the table, and that's when it gets pretty interesting. And again, we've got a ton of traffic, 3 cars that these leaders are coming up on as they head down into turn 1, and Mueller has gone around the outside.
Oh, great move. And hopefully clearing the traffic well, and that's not going to be a part of this race.
Gallagher going to try and straight line to the apex. He's there. See if Mueller, though, able with that wider entry, is able to get the run. And now look at this. They're going to have to do some needle threading, and Mueller thought about it, but realized if I go there, there's no way for me to get through. Those 2 lap cars, I think each of them realized the fast guys were coming. One went far right, one went far left, and left a gaping hole for these 2 guys to drive through. That was some pretty savvy driving by the lap cars, and Gallagher once again in traffic guessing well.
Oh, absolutely. But Mueller's definitely not shaking there, and he's right on his bumper, ready to strike any moment.
Up through 6. And looking up front right now, they've got a little bit of clear track that they can just go race at this stage. Well, not for long, though, because there are a couple more cars coming up. And I think they're going to be in traffic the whole time now. Mueller taking a look and now tucks back in. Bart, when you're out there driving, you're in a Sports 2, which is very, very quick sports racing equipment. When you start to, thought he was going to stay to the inside, was going to go around him. Gallagher made the move around the lap car, and the lap car just started to float wide. Boy, that was very, very close. You get way out to that outside edge in that turn. There's junk marbles, hot dog wrappers and stuff. It's a scary place.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know if I would have passed him on the outside. That's a low percentage move, but obviously made it work, and Mueller followed him through. So these guys are definitely going for it.
Yeah, it's the national championship, isn't it? It's like, you got all winter to fix the thing.
True. That's you make a very good point there. These guys are so close wheel to wheel that it boils down to one finish, and hopefully both of them do finish when it gets down to the last lap of battling.
Well, and Mueller played that draft absolutely phenomenally down into Canada corner, popped out and made the pass, so now he leads as we come up the hill once again. More traffic that they're going to be dealing with, and it's a benefit at a certain point. You get in there, you're benefiting from the draft of that guy in front of you, but then it's a double tow for the guy that's racing you right behind you, like Gallagher just felt right there. He may have gone a little early there, Bart.
I think so, but maybe he had some straightaway on him. And now all of a sudden they make it 3 wide.
Well, Mueller moved to make the pass, and he had Gallagher alongside. Gallagher, I think, realized that, gave him the room, and they were both able to sneak through. But I think Gallagher may have been just a little bit surprised by that, but he tucks right back up behind. What I was about to ask before we saw that close moment in the carousel, if you're in a pitch battle like that and you come up on traffic, do you feel it's better to be leading or to be sitting in second?
I would rather be leading just because you can sometimes use traffic if you can get around someone right before the guy turns in. Maybe you can use that as pinning the guy behind and get a car length or 2. But sometimes in second, if as we saw through the carousel, if someone makes a move to the outside, either you got to go or, say, hey, I wonder if he's going to slide off and be the smart one and stay. But you got to be aggressive, especially with the championships.
So basically, it's really just a matter, whatever the opportunity is there. Sometimes it's best to lead, sometimes it's best to be second, and because you can use them as a pick, as you would say, but sometimes, like we saw, if you choose wrong and you're the leader, the guy in second can go, thank you.
That's why you're so excited. If you see a little hand coming out of the cockpit, pointing one way or the other, at least they acknowledge that you're coming, and you know that they're not going to run their normal line, or you know where they want you to pass them. And I've been on both ends of the spectrum on that, where I've been running second and got a break and ended up passing for the lead, and I've also been leading and got stuck in a corner and had to wait and got passed for it. So it's part of racing, I guess.
Well, that it is. That's why we hold them, I guess. And now, again, the exit of the kink down in a Canada corner. These two, boy, what a race they are putting on in that battle. Here comes Gallagher again, just got that great run through the kink, benefited from the draft. And these two have been just doing this back and forth almost every time down through that section of track, just swapping it. And, they'll contest it to a point, but when they realize, I really think they're going, if I really fight this right now, I'm going to lose momentum. In these cars, you can't afford to do that. We talk about momentum, and especially in these cars, you've got the momentum issue itself. But if that clutch unspools, by the time you ramp that back up again to the engagement point, you can lose tons of time, can't you?
Oh, absolutely. And these guys obviously have watched runoffs in the past and are being very, very smart in traffic. Their last lap times were 2:29s, and their best were 2:26s, so 24s. So they've definitely backed off. They're being smart through traffic, and then it's allowing them to race when they're open and clear again. They're not going to throw it away on having an incident in lap traffic.
By the way, just a little bit less than 2 laps remaining. So the next time by, we should see the indication of 1 lap to go. And Gallagher back in front. These two just swapping those positions and just using it to pace.
Oh, we were just watching on the front straightaway.
Oh,
and,
the crew, yeah.
The crew giving them the hand signal, the big arm swing going. Turn it up, turn it up. And let me tell you, they're probably pushing the accelerator through the front of the car right now.
Yeah, there's not a lot left they can do at this point. And as we get into these final 2 laps, which we are in, and certainly that final lap, this is going to be awesome stuff. Mueller following Gallagher up through 6. You saw Mueller show the nose down into 5, realize, nope, that if I do that, again, it's going to cost me, and just tucked right back in behind. Close out of 3, you get the run into 5. Obviously, the big moment is clearly what we've seen in this race is get the job done going into Canada Corner.
Oh, absolutely. And if you can hold that, that's probably the longest quarter of a lap you're going to have to do. But right now, it's sad, actually, that there's going to be someone taking second place because this is such a great race.
Oh, man.
Both of them certainly in position that they could win it and put on a great show.
Oh, look at this. Mueller got a tremendous run out of the carousel and actually showed the nose to Gallagher going into the kink. Now he gets the run and he makes the move early. If he can stay put, that is going to put him on the inside for Canada Corner. But it's all a matter of the run here. And Mueller, boy, did he get out of the carousel with such a head of steam. He was able to make it work. Now, let's see if Gallagher can do the over-under. But he's got to get it done by the time he gets to the apex here, and he's there. He's made the repass now up through Billy Mitchell. Ben, nope, Mueller carries a bit more speed in there. Mueller with Gallagher in tow. Up into turn 14. Now this is it, the last blast down the front straight, and they're going to get the indication 1 lap to go. This is your last free run down into turn 1. Gallagher with the draft moves over. They are going to come by and get that indication of 1 lap to go side by side down the front straight. This is awesome stuff.
And that might be an indication of how the race ends. Just that pull out of 14. He could have been testing them. Notice now, car's wiggling around a little bit. Those tires are getting probably a little greased up because they've been pushing it for 12 laps so far.
Did you notice this time Gallagher didn't let him go with that outside move? This is it. This is the last lap. Nope, now we fight, my friend. Let's do this. And, boy, is this going to be spectacular. Down through turn 3. Little wiggle from Gallagher, but I think it was because he had great exit speed, and he actually has that little bit of a margin over Mueller. It's all about the draft.
Boy, it's exciting. Wow, I can't imagine the adrenaline going on in that cockpit and how bad both of these guys want the championship.
By the way, a quick update. Michael Brent somehow has moved up into 3rd as Geeson has had a little issue and dropped back now into the 6th spot. So the veteran Michael Brent, well, I'll tell you, doing the job late in the race, keeping his head about him. Look at this, Mueller, again, I think just trying to get in the mirrors maybe. At that point, if you can make Gallagher just look at the glance in that mirror and miss that turn in by just a smidge, it could pay huge dividends. You're throwing every arrow in your quiver at this right now.
Oh, absolutely. There's no sense in leaving anything left out there. So he's trying, you're right, if he could break his concentration, you see him sliding there a little bit, maybe he's heating up the tires, but he's pulling a gap, hopefully.
And this is where Mueller, the exit of the carousel, he was so fast. Look at him power slide that thing through this long corner. He had good speed, but it looked like Gallagher had a good run through there as well. But now here comes Mueller through the kink the last time. Absolutely on it. Mueller right to the edge of the track. Boy, did he carry the speed. He is there. He's got the draft. Gallagher this time, will defend with everything he's got. But Mueller already alongside. Mueller's got the pass done. Then he feints and squeezes Gallagher just a little bit. But he runs wide. Gallagher up to the inside. This is exactly what we saw last time. Will Mueller's inside line through Billy Mitchell. No, Gallagher. Brilliant move around the outside, Bart. And here we go. Turn 14. Last time. No mistakes here. He gets through, but Mueller, a great exit. He is going to get some tow up the hill. Is it going to be? Here he comes. Mueller starting to feel it. To the flag. The flags are waving. It's this close. And Gallagher pulls it off the 17-year-old, wins the gold medal in Formula 5. And what a run. Michael Mueller going, that young man schooled me.
Well, I don't think he schooled him, but
no.
Boy, both of them were definitely going after it. And
this is the battle for the bronze here, Bart. That's Mike Brent with Lapham right in tow as they start to climb up the hill. David Lapham looking inside, looking outside. Here he comes. He's along the edge. It is Lapham by less than 100th of a second. Lapham literally nips Brent at the finish line. Weida is 5th. Giesen, Morales, McAbee, McLeod, and Huskamp bring home the top 5. And look at this. Still, the intensity of the battles at the line. As they come by, that was for 14th. Meyer making the move. What an incredible race that one was. And by the way, let's give some a shout-out to David Lapham. He ends up with the bronze medal coming from 12th on the grid.
That's a heck of a drive. Wow, he's got to be just extremely excited.
I would think he's over the moon. But young Patrick Gallagher, after being a major player last year, sitting on the pole, having some issues in the race, he has shown that what a difference that year can make in terms of just honing your racecraft. And he put in it. I think you put it beautifully earlier when you said he's showing some racecraft well above his years.
Oh, and I think, like you were saying, too, there was a lot of bench racing that probably happened this winter. And you keep running through your head and analyzing, how could I do better? What could I have changed? And he certainly did his homework and applied it.
He did indeed, and he is our national champion, and we will be coming back for a visit with him from John Bizignano when we come back after a quick break here at Road America for the 47th running of SCCA's National Championship Runoffs presented by Subway. Stay with us.
The 2010 SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Subway, is brought to you by Mazda, Black Magic Car Care Products, and Gumout.
Forget the rock. Let's roll. Follow your inner driver to the all-new 2011 Mazda 2. It's Zoom Zoom. Concentrated.
Kid, where you been?
Just got back from an SCCA event.
Really?
Yeah, SCCA has more than 2,000 events every year.
Serious?
Go to SCCA.com and find people in your area that drive fast and get their hands dirty. And you don't have to be a supercar to compete.
So I go to SCCA.com, sign up, and I can start competing?
It's that easy.
And there he is, a 17-year-old gold medalist. His name, Patrick Gallagher, out of Thornville, Ohio. The CTL Engineering Invader, an absolutely spectacular run. And, I guess you have to, you say for Jason Knutson, who had that issue early, that spin, then that speed, then a problem. But I don't know that anybody could have really dealt with the speed that Gallagher and Mueller showed today. That was a spectacular race. And it had a bit of everything. I mean, it had strategy, it had drafting, it had being able to be smart in certain parts of the track and the like, and traffic on top of it. These guys showed what racing is all about right here now. So it looks like it's just about time for us to head down as I see John Bizignano waiting. So let's get down. Let's send it down to John Bizignano with our Mobile One Winners Interview. John.
How comfortable were you running? How comfortable were you to be running that close to the number 1, number 2 guy, depending on what position you were in?
I was really comfortable. I know Mike really well. I know all these guys. They race clean. That's what they're all about. I was really comfortable racing wheel to wheel with every one of these guys.
But then coming through the lap traffic, that added a little bit more drama.
Oh man, it was crazy. It was crazy, but we got the job done. That's all that matters.
Well, congratulations on a great medal. Those Hoosier tires worked well for you. We're going to turn ourselves around here, go back to the number 2 man, and of course, we've got Mike Mueller. I'll tell you, Mike, you got a lot of compliments from the fellow who finished first. Pat said he was very comfortable running that close to you. but it had to be exciting.
Oh, it was an exciting race, and we were back and forth the whole race. We were dead even except for out of 14. I knew I had to make a move on him into 12. I wanted to have a chance, and he back passed me right into 13 and just didn't have enough of a draft to get him at start-finish, but it was a great race. I had fun racing with him, so we're ecstatic with second place.
Now, we're almost getting blown out of the pit lane here. These cars only weigh 800 pounds. I mean, my gosh, where was that affecting you on the track?
Pretty much everywhere. I think it would gust. I mean, turn 7, when you turn in, every other lap, you'd catch a gust to just blow the nose of the car, so it affected the handling of the car. We were catching rain at different parts of the track. All of a sudden, you have no brakes going into the corner, so it was an entertaining race, that's for sure.
Congratulations on a great finish. Go back here, number 5 car, Dave Lappin. He's got a little bit of damage down here on the nose of his car. David, doesn't look like it was all perfectly smooth for you, but congratulations on a great third place. The leaders got away from you, but you got a lot of racing going around all around you.
Yeah, that's what this is about. It's all the fun of racing and competing against my teammate there. That was a lot of fun at the end there.
What happened to your nose here, mate?
We came upon slower cars, and one fella slowed down before a little too much when I got to him, and I was racing Mike pretty hard. Matter of fact, I had to touch him with the right rear here to move him out of the way when we got to the top of the hill. So
a lot going on every single lap. That's the way it's supposed to be in Formula 500. Congratulations on a great third place.
Thank you. That was fun.
Miller and Knudsen, boy, they just couldn't stop smiling.
Yeah.
What a race.
That's what it's all about. I mean, you get out there and put on that kind of a battle, and obviously Mueller would rather have been carrying the flag, but he gave it everything he had. He left nothing on the table, going for a national championship. And certainly silver is a tremendous accomplishment, but it is the gold medalist that gets this moment. And we talked about how special this is. Look at him. He is just coming unglued inside that car right now.
He's just about coming out of the car. And, boy, if you could have seen him come into pit lane, he jumped out, gave his dad a big hug. And what a special moment there. And I'm sure he's enjoying every mile of this.
Well, and that's one of the interesting things about this is, for a young driver, we talk about him being 17 years old. And, to win a gold medal that early, especially if you're thinking about, this is something I'd like to do for a while, especially if I could do it as a pro and be able to make a career out of it. We've seen the history of the Runoffs, the launching pad it's been for careers for some of the truly great drivers over the years. So you get that, I won the gold here at the Runoffs now. Maybe people will notice me, and now it's, but you've got the other side of it. You've got the guys that have been racing in SCCA club racing and, some of the other classes like the production classes where the cars have been around for, and they've been doing it for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and they get that gold finally. It's also just an entirely different type of emotion. And look at this. He's just stopping on the track. Apparently that's where the family is.
Well, I think he lost his checkered flag.
Oh, he did.
Poor guy. And honestly, these things do flap around in the wind pretty hard. It's probably just snapped the stick. And,
especially on a day like today. And I'm sure he was torquing that stick pretty good too. And I think what we just saw, one of the track photographers ran out and said, "Yeah, I know where it is. I'll grab it and I'll bring it over to you at the end of the day because you want that flag, that's for sure."
Oh, definitely. That's one you'll cherish the rest of your life.
Lots of stuff yet to unfold here in this 47th annual running of SCCA's National Championship Runoffs, presented by Subway. Thanks so much, everybody. As again, the next voices you hear will be Jim Trado and Dorsey Schrader, bringing you the call of GT Life.